Another interstate eventually go through East Texas. TxDOT took a hard look today at what it would take to convert Highway 287 into an interstate stretching all the way from Port Arthur to Amarillo. In East Texas, Highway 287 runs through Anderson, Houston, Trinity, and Polk counties. KLTV7's Emma Burns tells us more about the study that looked at this potential $24.5 billion project.
The Texas Department of Transportation's feasibility study looked at Highway 287 to determine if that corridor could be converted into an interstate. Timothy Monzingo with the Department of Transportation says the benefits would be remarkable for East Texas.
The benefits are not just for the daily traveling public, but also for the state's economy.
And the TxDOT analysis, this expansion could save drivers on average 44 minutes compared to the current system, boost economies for cities along the corridor, and increase access to major markets like agriculture and timber.
Those industries could potentially use an interstate where Highway 287 is now to reach a broader market more easily.
Anderson County Judge Kerry McKinney welcomes the interstate, saying it would bring economic prosperity to the county.
The connectivity for us to other markets, from an economic development standpoint, it opens up the door for businesses that need that connectivity between different highways.
McKinney also noting that the conversion would allow for freight to travel quicker from Port Arthur through the state.
That would alleviate some of the traffic on these other highways to make that safer too.
The study also noted an estimated 46,000 jobs created along the corridor and an $11.6 billion in economic gains by 2050. Emma Burns, KLTV 7 News.
Now, for the project to move forward, the highway must be designated as an interstate.